Welcome to Caregivers, Nourishment and Nurturing. This project was made possible by a grant from the Nova Scotia Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism and Heritage. Section 2. When my care recipient cannot eat, what do I do? There are many reasons someone may have trouble eating. No appetite or not feeling hungry, too tired or fatigued to eat, having trouble breathing, feeling of nausea, food either tastes awful or has no taste at all. It hurts to chew or swallow. Digesting food hurts. The person chokes or is fearful of choking. This is not a complete list of all the things that can get in the way of a person eating. For personalized information on anything related to these or other barriers to eating, talk to a registered dietitian. See Section 6. When a person has no appetite or is too tired to eat. When a person has no appetite, that is, they have no interest in eating or they are too tired to chew, taking nourishment in liquid form is fine. Blenders are useful to puree either an individual food, such as making a pureed fruit, or to make smoothies or to puree entire meals. Smoothies and milkshakes can be made higher in protein by adding protein sources such as skim milk powder, soy or other bean-based protein powders, or soft tofu. Sometimes, when people don't feel like eating, they can't think of anything they might want because they've been following dietary restrictions throughout their life, such as limiting sugar-containing foods when they have diabetes or limiting salt intake when they retain water or have elevated blood pressure. Talk with your care provider or registered dietitian about whether you can loosen these restrictions. For people with diabetes who don't feel like eating when they have no appetite, follow the instructions in this resource from Diabetes Canada on how a person can stay hydrated when they have no appetite. Nausea. Sometimes the feeling of nausea happens when a person's blood sugar is low because they haven't eaten. When this happens, try offering a small amount of any liquid that contains energy. That is, anything except water or zero or low-calorie diet drinks. Examples of energy-containing liquids are soups, a shake or smoothie, regular, not diet soft drinks, juice, pudding, ice cream, or yogurt. And there are many more. Once a person's blood sugar rises a bit, they are often interested in eating something else. It's important for a person to take their anti-nausea medication as prescribed. Sometimes the smell of food and beverages is off-putting. It can be helpful to serve liquids, whether they're cold or hot, in a covered mug or cup. A lid prevents the person from smelling the liquid, so can make it easier to drink. You can find recipe ideas for drinks here. When food has no taste, referred to as hypogeusia, or when food tastes awful, referred to as dysgeusia. For any of us who've had a head cold and can't taste food, we know how uninteresting it is to eat when food has no flavor. This is because we require our sense of smell to be able to taste. When a person cannot taste food because of the medication or because of an injury, it can be hard to want to eat. When food has no flavor, sometimes there is a flavor that is pleasant or just okay, in quotation marks, when other flavors have no taste or taste terrible. Adding some of the pleasant tasting flavor to other foods, even if the combination of food and flavors seems odd, can help your person to taste. There are 5 flavors: sweet, sour, salt, bitter, and umami. So it might happen that if sweetness tastes okay, or at least not unpleasant, and it's hard to taste other flavors, shaking a little sugar onto pasta, potatoes, vegetables, meat, fish, or eggs can help make them taste better. Another example, if saltiness tastes okay and other foods have no flavor, try adding a little salt to things that normally aren't salty. For example, if ice cream has no taste, something that's normally perceived as sweet, try adding a dash of salt to see if the sweetness flavor is tasted. If food tastes weird or off, it makes it very challenging to eat. We are able to taste food because we can smell it. So if food tastes different, that is, weird or awful, reducing the smell of food can help minimize the awful taste. For example, taking liquids in a container with a closed lid so that the liquid is not perceived as having a smell can be helpful. These resources contain ideas on managing tastes. There is one from Alberta Health Services and another from BC Cancer. If it hurts to eat, that is, to chew or to swallow. When it hurts to eat or swallow, eating soft foods can help, especially when each bite is washed down with some liquid. Even though this resource is labeled Wired Jaw, it contains useful information on using a blender to make meals that are liquid. When digesting food hurts, that is, when food is in the abdomen, there is discomfort. The term gut is the route that food takes from entering the stomach, traveling through the small intestine and the large intestine or colon. There can be many reasons that the presence of food in the gut can lead to pain. It could be because of the composition of the food or because of physical changes to the gut that interfere with digestion. Examples are an injury somewhere along the gut, a bowel obstruction, or surgery where part of the gut was removed. Some people know exactly what foods bother them. When this is the case, the solution to minimize gut discomfort is to not eat them. This, however, can lead to restricting food intake so much that a person isn't eating enough to meet their nutritional needs. For advice on managing the pain of digestion, speak to your healthcare provider or seek the advice of a registered dietitian. See Section 6 on how to locate a registered dietitian. Choking. When people have experienced choking on food or saliva, it can be very scary to eat and scary to watch. As there are many reasons for choking, it is important to seek a swallowing assessment. Here is a link to learn about swallowing issues. It's from Nova Scotia Health. To arrange for a swallowing assessment, a physician's referral is required. You can find a swallowing assessment service in Nova Scotia near you at www.hearingandspeech.ca, find-location. If your person is in hospital or residential care, ask the staff for a swallowing assessment.